It's funny. We breeze through airports, grabbing coffee, catching flights. It all seems so simple.
It's deceptively simple.
Yeah. But have you ever stopped and thought about the crazy amount of stuff happening behind the scenes?
Right, right.
Like it's this perfectly timed dance of logistics
Absolutely.
with someone calling the shots for everything.
And that someone is the airport chief executive. They're kind of the unsung heroes of, our travel adventures, making sure everything runs smoothly from takeoff to landing.
It's more than keeping the lights on, though, right?
Oh, for sure.
This deep dive into RoleCatcher's data, it really hit me.
Yeah.
This is a high-impact job.
Totally.
Shaping the future of how we travel, like all of it. Air travel.
It's true. The insights that RoleCatcher gives you really highlight that. It's not just about, keeping the planes on schedule, although that's no easy feat in itself. But
Right.
they really paint this picture of the airport chief executive as this visionary, this leader making decisions that have these huge ripple effects on the whole industry.
Okay, so serious decision-making power then.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of decisions are we talking about here? Like, give us a peek behind the curtain a little.
Well, think about it. Everything from these massive infrastructure projects, like expanding terminals
Yeah.
to beefing up security protocols, even managing all the relationships with the airlines, the government agencies.
No, I bet.
It's a huge balancing act with a lot at stake.
I can only imagine. And speaking of what's at stake, RoleCatcher doesn't try to hide the fact that this is a demanding job at all.
No, not at all.
Like they reveal the median salary is over $200,000.
Yeah.
So the rewards are high,
Sure.
but so are the challenges.
Absolutely. This is not your typical 9 to 5.
Right.
RoleCatcher doesn't beat around the bush, They tell you straight up, long hours, the pressure's always on, and you've got to be ready for unexpected crises.
Oh, like what?
Think like major weather events, security breaches. You've even got the occasional drone throwing everything off.
Oh, wow.
Disrupting air traffic.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a high-stress situation.
You could say that again.
It takes a special kind of person to handle all that, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not even just about handling the stress. It's about, thriving in an environment that's constantly changing.
Right.
And RoleCatcher really, they emphasize that airport chief executives need exceptional judgment, a real knack for managing these enormous budgets,
I bet.
and this almost like sixth sense when it comes to monitoring performance.
Monitoring performance. So it's more than just making sure the planes leave on time.
Oh, yeah. Way more.
What else are they keeping an eye on?
Everything. On-time departures? Sure. But also, are passengers happy? How long are the security lines?
Right.
Are bags getting lost left and right? It's about maximizing how well everything's working, every single little detail of how the airport operates.
Which, if you think about the sheer volume of people moving through an airport
Oh, yeah.
and just all the moving parts,
It's a lot.
that's no easy task. It's like this symphony of logistics,
That's a great way to put it.
and every instrument has to be in perfect harmony.
Exactly. And that's actually why, this might surprise you, but some of the other skills RoleCatcher highlights are things like persuasion, negotiation, even, get this, social perceptiveness.
Now, that's interesting. So we're not just talking spreadsheets and logistics here. It's people skills, too.
Big time.
Tell me more about that.
Well, an airport chief executive, they're essentially the conductor of this whole complex orchestra, right? Bringing
Yeah.
together all these different people, airlines, government agencies, you've got the shops and restaurants, even the local community. They have to be master communicators, these airport chief executives. Building consensus, resolving conflicts, making sure everyone's on the same page, working towards that common goal.
So they're like, what, diplomats?
In a way. Yeah.
In this high-stakes, fast-paced world.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's suddenly thinking, hey, that sounds kind of amazing, what does the path to becoming an airport chief executive actually look like? Does RoleCatcher give us the inside scoop there?
They sure do. RoleCatcher actually maps it out pretty clearly. It's demanding, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're starting entry level. Like, think airport operations assistant.
Airport operations assistant. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're right in the thick of it,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
What kind of stuff are you doing in that kind of role?
You're learning everything from the ground up, right?
Okay.
So you're helping passengers check in. You're dealing with the baggage handling. You might even be, like, directing traffic on the tarmac.
Well, yeah, it's about understanding how the airport runs, day to day, the realities of it.
So lots of hands-on, learning the ropes. Then what? How do you climb that ladder to the executive suite?
Right.
Okay.
So RoleCatcher, they lay out these stepping stones. You go from that assistant role to supervisor, then manager,
Okay.
then deputy director.
Makes sense.
Every step up, you're getting more responsibility, obviously. You're dealing with more complex stuff. The decisions you're making, they matter more.
Right.
And of course, you're diving deeper and deeper into those financial reports.
I bet. Let's fast forward, though, to that top spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The CEO, RoleCatcher, talks about setting the strategic direction for the whole airport.
Right.
What does that actually look like day to day?
Honestly, it's a huge job.
Yeah.
You're not just managing these different departments, right? You're overseeing these massive budgets.
Yeah.
You're representing the airport on this global stage. And you're always, always planning for the future. So it takes years of experience, obviously, but also like a deep understanding of how the whole industry works.
It sounds like it takes a rare breed to be able to handle all that.
It does.
But here's where RoleCatcher goes beyond just, describing the job.
Yes.
They give you tools to actually prepare for it, which is amazing, like their interview prep.
Yeah.
They have over 120,000 practice questions.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Anything stand out to you when you were looking at them?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, these weren't your typical, like, tell me about a time you overcame a challenge kind of questions. These were, like, real-world scenarios. Like, how would you deal with a major security breach? Or what would you do if there was a volcanic eruption that grounded all the flights? They really, they put you in the hot seat.
Oh, I bet. It's one thing to talk about handling pressure.
Right.
Right. But it's a whole other thing to think through that kind of scenario. I imagine that kind of preparation, though, it's got to give you a real edge in an interview.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It shows them that you can think on your feet, you can handle the unexpected, and it's not even just about acing the interview. RoleCatcher gives you resources that can help your whole application stand out.
Really?
Yeah. Like, they have this whole CV and resume thing. They'll analyze your skills for you.
Oh, cool.
And then they highlight the ones that are, super relevant for the job that you want.
That's really useful, especially with a job this competitive. Did they mention, any specific certifications that could be helpful?
Yeah, they did. So for, aspiring airport chief executives, they said the certified member designation, they call it CM. That one's from the American Association of Airport Executives.
Okay.
The ARAE.
Catchy.
Super catchy, but that's a really valuable one. And then there's the certified airport executive, also from ARAE, and that one's that's the gold standard, the CAE.
So it's not just about the on-the-job experience.
Yeah.
It's having those credentials, showing you've got the knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not even always about, coming from the aviation world either.
Oh, okay.
RoleCatcher actually pointed out that skills from other jobs like project management, financial analysis, even crisis communication, those are all super valuable.
Yep.
It's like an airport chief executive wears so many different hats, right?
Yeah.
You need that broad range of skills and knowledge to be able to do it.
To navigate that whole world. We've talked a lot about the what of the job, though,
Right.
like the tasks, the skills, the career path. But I'm curious about the why. What is it about this job? What makes it so compelling?
That's the exciting part, isn't it? I mean, you're not just managing a building or a facility, you're shaping the whole experience.
Yeah.
You're influencing how people travel, how they connect, even with the rest of the world.
And with, climate change being such a huge issue, it seems like there's a lot of responsibility to do that sustainably. Airports have a big environmental footprint, right?
For sure, yeah. But that's where it gets really cool, actually. RoleCatcher highlighted all these airports that are really stepping up, implementing all these green initiatives, things like solar panels,
Okay.
electric vehicle charging stations, even looking into sustainable aviation fuel.
So they're not just managing things. They're leading the charge.
Yeah.
Wow. To make things more sustainable. That's pretty cool.
It is. It really speaks to how this whole role is changing, too. It's not just about maintaining things the way they are. It's about looking for new solutions,
Yeah.
new innovations, and really leading the industry in those new directions.
Give me an example. What kind of innovations are we talking about?
Imagine driverless cars, but they're moving all around the tarmac.
Oh, wow.
Biometric security, so you're speeding up those checkpoints.
Right.
Maybe even personalized stuff for passengers, but through AI-powered apps. And this isn't some far-off future. This is stuff they're already testing, even implementing in airports around the world.
That is really cool. So it's about so much more than just like planes taking off and landing. You're shaping this whole ecosystem.
Totally.
And the airport chief executive, it sounds like, is right at the heart of all that.
Exactly. And that's why RoleCatcher emphasizes this. You need that commitment to always be learning.
Yeah, because it never stops in that industry, does it?
Never. New technologies are always popping up. There are new security protocols. Travel trends change too. An airport chief executive has to be constantly learning.
And it sounds like RoleCatcher gives you the resources to do that. They mentioned some links to like professional organizations and industry publications, even some online courses. Like,
Yeah,
they've got you covered.
totally. And that's what's so great about their whole approach. They don't just tell you about a job. They give you the tools to actually go for it, to become a real expert.
Which at the end of the day is what it's all about, right? Finding a job that challenges you and pushes you to keep learning.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someone listening to this right now, this is sparking something for them. Maybe they'd never even considered the whole world of like airport management. And now they're thinking, maybe this is something for me.
It's certainly been eye-opening. I mean, it makes you realize that even the most normal, everyday parts of life, like going to the airport, there are these hugely complex systems running behind them
Absolutely.
and passionate people making it all happen. And to think there's someone at the top of it all, right, steering the ship,
It's pretty amazing.
the airport chief executive. It kind of makes you want to look at airports completely differently now.
Totally. And it made me think of something RoleCatcher said at the end.
Oh, yeah.
They ask you to imagine you're the airport chief executive,
Okay.
but like you're not just looking at the departures and the passengers, right? You're thinking bigger picture.
Uh-huh.
You're envisioning the future of like air travel itself. What does that look like?
That's a big question.
It is.
It's about more than just, adding more terminals or flights. What about making it more accessible, more efficient,
Yeah.
more enjoyable for everyone?
Right. Those are the challenges, but also the opportunities. That's what's facing the next generation of these airport chief executives.
So to anyone listening who, feels that little spark,
Yeah,
that curiosity about what it really takes to run an airport,
sure.
maybe it's time to dig a little deeper.
RoleCatcher is a good place to start, that's for sure. Whether you're serious about this as a job or just interested in like how it all works behind the scenes, their insights are great.
Totally agree. I think we've learned that there's more to being an airport chief executive than meets the eye.
Yep.
It's challenging, yeah. But it's also a really rewarding career. Logistics, innovation, this global impact. It's
Yeah.
all there.
It's all connected.
So next time you're at the airport, take a second to think about everything happening behind the scenes. All those moving parts, all those people working to make it run smoothly. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to join them. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of the airport chief executive. Until next time, safe travels.